Whenever we see these clips from Watch What Happens Live or from interviews, I'm always like getting some like nuggets that I don't necessarily know that I would have heard in the first pass of listening to this. Okay. So when I watched this back, shout out to our friends at No Chaser, this clip from Watch What Happens Live this past Sunday, where Angela Oakley was the guest on the show from the Housewives, and Michelle Buteau was also on the show as well. And what we learned is that Andy asked this question specifically. He said, when did you first learn about these rumors about Shamea and these Atlanta Hawks and Falcons players? And did you hear about these from sources other than Charles? Okay. So Angela pauses for a beat and we see the camera pan over. I think we see Michelle take a sip of her drink. So Angela pauses, and I can't tell if she's like thinking, okay, well, let me just spill it all or what. But she pauses for a second and she says, well, last season, Shamea admitted to there being rumors of her having affairs since a cat was a kitten. Now, first of all, that last part, that's given Angela Oakley-ism. Okay. That cat was a kitten. And, you know, Angela is funny to me because those sayings right there, a cat was a kitten, and I could throw a rock and hit 10 people you owe. That's I'm gonna tell you something. If you, and I know Angela's, I think she's from Chicago, but those are some old folks reads. That's why they be so funny. These are like some old folks sayings, right? So I could almost imagine, and this is, I think, a testament to Angela's mom, right? I can literally imagine Angela's mom like having these sayings and Angela picking these things up because it reminds me of things that people in our families say. I mean, for me being from the South, I hear like sayings like this all the time. And I don't know, Angela's vernacular at times just reminds me of like she was listening when the grown folks was talking. You know what I'm talking about. That's why her reads be so funny because they almost, in my mind, they harken back to something like something the old folks would say. A cat was a kitten. First of all, I don't think Shamea said that. I think that's an Angela Oakley-ism. But basically, she's alleging that Shamea admitted to there being long heard rumors about her cheating or these rumors with these players or something to that degree, something like that. Maybe not cheating. Let me not say that. Let me just say something with the players because I think that could be two different things. So then she moves on to say, so she did not make anything up about Shamea. That is her point. Okay. She says, I didn't make anything up. She says Shamea admitted to this. Then she said, so when she heard, okay, she heard the rumors and nastiness from sources other than Charles. Now, we don't know who those sources are. They could be the same sources that told K. Michelle that the streets and the people were after her, particularly Phaedra, Portia, and Drew, for which it's curious to me with K. Michelle and Drew, now that I really play it back, if if K. Michelle could have these forward facing direct conversations with Portia and Phaedra, why would she not be able to also have them with Drew? Maybe is it because Drew seems a little less welcoming? because maybe I don't really know. Maybe there's been I don't know. Or the conversation just goes left. Maybe she doesn't vibe with Drew's energy. I'm just thinking about it now. That thought is crossing my mind. So anyway, that was new information. I don't remember Shamea talking about these rumors and nastiness about these Atlanta Hawks and Falcons players, but there is oftentimes things that the ladies bring up that were not seen by the audience, but may have been filmed and the ladies remember. Okay. So that could be very well the case. I don't know, but I just thought that piece was so interesting because it changes a little bit of the dynamics of why Angela is so stuck on this rumor. Maybe. Okay. Not notably, she also seemed pretty testy when asked about Shamea, as well as about Kelly, because the next question was about Kelly and Kelly's finances. Well, really, whether or not, should friends help friends in the way that Phaedra is with providing free legal services for Kelly. Angela says, basically, because Kelly ain't got no money, and she's absolutely sure Phaedra will at some point want to check. Meanwhile, Andy and Michelle thought it was sweet for Phaedra to offer to do that, which I did also think it was nice. Because in the episode was technically kind of really showcasing a lot of like sisterhood with certain things and certain elements, with Shamea letting Kelly live there and then Phaedra offering free legal services. Then I was telling you guys about the man gifting Kelly $70,000 worth of teeth. In my mind, I'm thinking to myself, those $70,000 might have gone towards some bills. Okay. For me, I'm thinking to myself, you want to give me some new teeth, but I might have to live with the current chompers so I can pay off this bill. Maybe. I don't know. Okay. All right. So speaking of bills, can you pay my bills? Can you pay my automobiles? Can you pay my telephone bills? Can you pay the bankruptcy bills? I don't think you do. So you and me are through. Not laughing at this story because I don't think it's funny. But it is a part of the financial conversations that we're having with regards to the show in general. And I wanted to actually bring this up because I saw this story so a few days ago, but I didn't have a chance to really get into it because it was like Father's Day weekend, so I had to like kind of move about. But it talks about in the Pinky Cole ongoing Chapter 11 bankruptcy, Pinky listed her monthly income as $6,000, right? Now, that $6,000 could come from, okay, Pinky is essentially an employee of her company, her LLC, her own S Corp or corporation, not sure which it is. So she could be getting paid X amount and then paying herself $6,000 as the monthly income, technically, right? Technically. But when she breaks down that monthly income, I just thought it was so interesting and fascinating when you compare it to Kelly's monthly income. Pinky said that she would budget $200 on children's expenses, $800 on groceries, $80 on gas, $30 on medical, $1,500 on Georgia state taxes, and $1,300 on federal taxes, which would leave her with $1,500. Lord, I can't talk today. Per month in disposable income. Okay, $1,500 per month in disposable income. All right, now, it is of note that while this could be what is listed. Okay, what we also could say to you is this: Pinky is also married. Okay, that is a differentiating factor from Kelly. And I say that to say that there is also another partner in residence who can also help with other aspects of lifestyle should she choose to list it as such, right? So that will be the point of clarification. But I'm just thinking to myself, it's interesting because I think that Pinky is definitely maneuvering this space a little bit, in my opinion, much better than Kelly, right? And Kelly, this is no shade, right? It's no shade. But I'm just noticing the difference, right? Pinky is budgeting 200 on children's expenses. Now, I don't know what children's expenses are for a month, but I'm assuming it's more than 200, right? 800 on groceries. I mean, I don't know what the vegans eat. So, maybe he's bringing home food from the restaurant. Maybe she's bringing some food home from the restaurant, or I don't know. Maybe it's just like a bowl of lettuce in the refrigerator with some cucumbers. I don't really know. Okay, but this is doable. It's doable. 80 on gas for the month. I'm like, girl, is you not drop? You got to be. Is you being chauffeured? You might be being chauffeured because $80 for gas. I see Empire said it too. $80 for gas. Where? Maybe a week. Exactly. Exactamundo. You've seen those prices. 300 on medical. Okay, I can get you with that because I don't know what I don't know what she does for insurance or whatever like that. But the taxes and stuff like that, I'm gonna tell y'all, for me, as I look at this monthly tax amount, I'm like, ooh, now I need to incorporate this type of strategy right here, because I'm assuming that's gonna probably decrease the tax liability come tax time. So this monthly thing right here is something I had never looked at. I mostly hear people talk about, and really facilitate conversations around quarterly taxes. So this one is actually fascinating to me, but I like it. Okay, so 1,500 per month in disposable income. I mean, based on the way she budgeted, I mean, she practically balling. I mean, not really. I mean, but kind of, sort of. When you break it down into everyday life expenses, if that is what she's spending so far, and she's got $1,500 left over, man, that is living. Okay, that is living. Now, I would think that it's probably of note that Pinky probably does her own hair, and I'm sure she just is a little bit more fruit. This is definitely giving some frugality. I think that Pinky, you need to sit down with Kelly. That should be the scene, and you need to probably, I don't know, maybe not, because you going through it, she going through it. So maybe would that be the blind leading the blind? I don't know. Probably not. Okay, because I feel like y'all got two different situations. But if you can make $6,000 work in a month, you definitely probably need to sit down and have a conversation with Kelly. So you just, kind of like how Quad did back in the day with Toya, when she went to Toya's house on Married to Medicine and wanted to sit down with her and have a budgeting conversation with Toya, unbeknownst to Toya. Y'all remember that? So maybe Pinky, in this upcoming season, maybe you guys can sit down together, come up with a financial worksheet for Kelly so that she can get those expenses down, because we've got to cut some things. Okay, we got to seriously cut some things, Kelly. So I just thought, again, fascinating conversations for the day after our Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. So make sure you guys keep it locked to the channel. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button. It is indeed free. And also be sure to tap down in the link in the description down below. If you have not gotten our Faceless Content Blueprint, you must get your hands on it absolutely right now. This is for those of you guys that are camera shy, don't want to be on camera. Maybe your job or your occupation won't allow you to, right? Or you are a creator already and you're just burnt out and you don't want to be on camera like this every day, right? You don't want to get dressed up, get yourself ready, get your backdrop ready, do all the things. I'm teaching you strategies on how you could do that. I started doing this in 2020, so I definitely know I made the mistakes. I made the mess ups, so you don't have to do all of that. And I give you tools and resources that you can utilize starting today to start making faceless content. Okay. And then the goal with the faceless content is it was for me, my goal was to generate revenue. Okay. What is your goal? All right. So with that being said, I will catch you in the next video.